3 fleets, gone in 4 days. The council chamber had never been so silent. The holograph still showed the markers, each crossed in red. 100 delegates stared. 3 fleets gone. Earth's answer swifter than anyone imagined possible.
This cannot be accurate. Our intelligence said they had no heavy fleet. Who gave the order to engage?
The order came from the Speaker's office 3 days ago. Earth's response was efficient. Initial loss estimates exceed 60% of our committed tonnage.
Enough. We will convene a peace conference. Draft terms that allow Earth to save face. They must be desperate to stop the bleeding.
Before anyone could argue, an aide hurried to the Speaker's side and placed a message wafer into his hand.
Human diplomat Elizabeth Kincaid requests permission to attend the negotiations immediately. She says her shuttle is already docking.
She's come to beg. Let her. We'll offer them autonomy if they disarm. It's more than they deserve.
The chamber filled with low murmurs of agreement. None of them understood what was about to walk through those doors.
Grant her request. We'll meet in 1 hour. Let us see what she offers.
1 hour later, Elizabeth Kincaid walked the diplomatic corridor alone, a dark folio tucked under her arm.
They think I am here to surrender. They have no idea what this folio holds.
The chamber doors parted. She stepped inside, and the murmur of 100 delegates died. She took her seat opposite Valor. Thorak and Lyria watched from their seats, faces hard. Speaker Valor leaned forward. A thin smile stretched across his features like a wound.
Diplomat Kincaid, we recognize the difficult position your species now faces. The Council offers Earth limited autonomy, provided you disarm and accept our permanent oversight.
Elizabeth waited, her face unreadable, letting the silence do its work.
Is that your final offer?
Without a word, she pushed the dark folio across the immaculate surface. It slid to a stop before Valor, its presence louder than any weapon. Valor opened the folio with a practiced flourish, expecting Earth's plea.
Articles of surrender. For the Interstellar Council?
The color drained from his face. His hands began to tremble.
What game is this? Human? You dare bring surrender terms for us?
Thorak slammed his fist on the table, but his voice held an edge of panic.
These are the terms of your surrender, Counselor. You started a war you lost.
Impossible. We were to dictate terms. You were to submit.
The document hovered in the air, its dense legal clauses glowing softly, a blank signature line at the bottom, waiting like an open wound.
This is not how negotiations proceed. You cannot expect us to sign this.
I don't expect you to sign it today, but you will read it. That's where we start.
Elizabeth began to read. Her voice carried no triumph, only the weight of inevitable facts.
Full reparations for all human losses. Immediate demilitarization of Council fleets to 15% of current tonnage. Complete withdrawal from contested systems.
This is madness. You think we will kneel to a species that barely left its homeworld a century ago?
His outrage bounced off her like light off armor.
Madness or not, it is law. Under the Treaty of Starlight, Clause 37b, an aggressor who initiates conflict and loses must submit to the victor's terms.
Clause 37b. That was drafted for rogue states, not established powers. You cannot apply it here.
The definition of aggressor in the treaty does not exclude the Council. You attacked. You lost. The clause fits perfectly.
Lyria's hand moved to her datapad. She pulled up the original treaty text, her face tightening.
I have a copy if you'd prefer. Every article is cross-referenced to your own laws.
Valor stared at the document. For the first time in decades, he had no words.
Clause 37b states clearly, any initiating party that fails to achieve military dominance shall submit to the defender's terms. There is no exception for tests.
We never intended to conquer. This was an evaluation of your defenses. You cannot twist that into aggression.
Intent is irrelevant. Your ships crossed the line. Your weapons fired. By your own treaty, you are the aggressor.
Lyria's fingers flew across her datapad, searching the treaty archives for any loophole. Her face, normally composed, now showed a dawning horror.
She is correct. The language is binding. The Council initiated combat without justification recognized by the signatories.
Valor's hand found the ceremonial quill beside the parchment. It trembled against the table.
If we reject this, we shatter the treaty. Every minor power would cite our hypocrisy. The Council's legal foundation would collapse.
There must be a way to discredit this. She is bluffing. No human could hold the Council to such terms.
This is not a bluff, Counselor, and I have not yet shown you the full consequence of refusal. This document was not drafted after your defeat. The first version was written 30 years ago.
A shimmering log materialized above the table, listing annual revisions stretching back decades.
Impossible. You could not have anticipated this war. No species plans for a conflict that does not exist.
We analyzed every encounter, every diplomatic incident. Your pattern was clear. We knew you would test us.
Valor stared at the log, his thoughts racing through decades of council decisions that now seemed like a carefully laid trap.
30 years.
You updated this document annually? Each clause calibrated to our own evolving legal interpretations?
Every year, our legal team reviewed your treaties. We ensured every word was beyond challenge.
The blank signature line at the bottom of the page seemed to pulse, an empty space waiting for his name. The council chamber had never held a silence this heavy.
Refuse and you destroy the Treaty of Starlight. The legal foundation of this council will become a dead letter.
The precedent would be exploited by every governed species. Anarchy would follow within months.
You have two choices. Sign this document now, or I return in 7 days with revised terms.
The silence was a physical weight, pressing down on every delegate. The document waited, the blank line an open accusation.
The revised terms will be worse. Much worse. I assure you, no one in this chamber wants to see them.
Valor's eyes moved from the document to her, searching for a crack, finding none.
You would escalate further? After you have already won?
We did not start this. We will finish it, if necessary.
The blank signature line seemed to glow, demanding his response. A vacuum that would not stay empty forever. The speaker sat paralyzed, the weight of 30 years pressing into that empty space.
The council does not surrender to upstarts. We will not be dictated to by a species that was still burning coal when we built this chamber.
Elizabeth closed the folio with a soft click, her expression as calm as when she entered.
7 days. The terms will be worse. Consider carefully.
She turned and walked toward the great doors, her footsteps the only sound in the vast chamber.
We should have seized her. You cannot let her leave with that document.
And what? Hold a diplomat hostage. That would be the last act of this council.
The doors opened before her and swallowed her into the corridor light.
She means it. Unless you sign within 7 days, the new terms will make this look generous.
Valor slumped in his chair, the empty space across the table now a monument to his failure. The countdown had begun, and the council was already running out of time.
This is insufferable. We must strike back, rally what remains, and hit their homeworld.
With what fleet? 3 armadas are debris. We have nothing capable of challenging Earth.
The chamber filled with the angry buzz of 100 voices, but Lyria's words cut through like a blade.
Is there any legal avenue to challenge the treaty interpretation? Any precedent?
None. She built this on our own words. Every legal scholar will confirm it.
Military estimate. How long can we resist if we reject?
Earth's fleet is advancing. Our remaining defense perimeter will collapse within a day.
Valor closed his eyes, the truth settling into his bones like a sickness.
Leave me. All of you.
The delegates filed out, leaving him alone with the cold reality of an empty chair and a clock that would not stop. In her office on Earth, Elizabeth Kincaid opened a file labeled Revision 22. Contingency.
If he doesn't sign, this becomes the new reality. He must be made to understand that.
Her fingers tapped a new clause. The Interstellar Council is hereby dissolved. 30 years earlier, A much younger Elizabeth had first drafted those same words in a cramped office, stacked with papers.
If they ever test us, we'll need more than a defense. We'll need a legal weapon that turns their own rules against them.
A colleague's voice off-screen asked, "And if we lose?"
Then it won't matter. But if we win, this will be the foundation of peace.
Now, the revised document on her tablet carried the same spirit, but with a harsher finality.
We hoped it would never come to this, but hoping isn't planning.
She saved the file under a single unambiguous name, Terms, Final Revision. Within 12 hours, the Council's diplomatic feeds flooded with condemnation. A dozen species formally declared their current treaties under review.
This is what we get for showing weakness. We should fight, not debate. Our honor demands it.
Honor will not rebuild a fleet or rewrite the treaty. Our only option is to sign the original before she returns with worse.
Valor sat motionless. A data chip clutched in his hand. It contained Elizabeth's final message. 6 days.
She is not bluffing. I saw her face. If I refuse again, she will dissolve this council, and we will all stand trial.
Then call her, request a private meeting, sign the document now before the deadline makes it impossible.
So we kneel to a lesser species. I would rather die standing.
Then you will die alone. I will not sacrifice the council for your pride.
Valor's hand shook as he composed a message to Elizabeth Kincaid. Request private meeting. Immediate. The die was cast. He had just asked his conqueror for permission to surrender. The message arrived on Elizabeth's tablet with a soft chime. Request private meeting. Immediate.
He broke faster than expected. The pressure of a dozen allies abandoning him did the work.
She dictated her reply without hesitation. I will meet you. 48 hours. Same station. Bring your quill.
The original terms serve our purpose best. Dissolution would create chaos. Earth doesn't need, but he doesn't need to know that.
She retrieved the original folio from her secure drawer, the weight of 30 years in her hands. She walked the corridor to the shuttle bay, every step measured, every glance confirming the path ahead.
No celebration until the ink is dry, and even then, only a short one.
The shuttle's engines hummed as she boarded, the viewport framing her silhouette against the distant stars. Her final message to Earth Command was simple. He requested, I am en route. The die was truly cast now on both sides. The next hours would decide everything. Her shuttle docked without fanfare. The station's corridors were quieter than before, the guards' eyes averted.
They know. Word travels faster than light. The Council's shame has already saturated this place.
She entered a small, wood-paneled room. Valo rose, his movements heavy, his robes less pristine than before.
Diplomat Kincaid, thank you for coming. I believe we can find a compromise that preserves some dignity for all.
His voice was rough, stripped of its former resonance.
A reduction in reparations, perhaps half, and limit judicial accountability to only the highest commanders, not administrative staff.
Elizabeth listened without interruption, her hands folded on the closed folio.
We made a mistake. Surely there can be some mercy, some acknowledgement that we are not monsters.
The silence stretched, a vacuum her reply would fill and shatter. Valor's hands trembled on the table, waiting. Elizabeth had not yet spoken a single word.
Number, no reductions, no exceptions. The terms stand as written. These terms are not punishment for punishment's sake. They are designed to ensure the Council can never threaten Earth again.
You have no mercy, no understanding of what you are doing to a civilization older than your species.
Mercy was over the moment your ships crossed our border and opened fire. You ended mercy.
She opened the folio and slid it across the table. The pages fanned out, displaying dense text and the blank signature line.
Sign this original document now, and I will delete the revised terms. They will never exist. That is my only concession.
Valor stared at the page. The blank line seemed impossibly vast.
You are asking me to destroy my own legacy.
Your legacy was already destroyed when you lost 3 fleets. I am offering you a way to preserve something from the wreckage.
The original folio lay between them, a bridge or a chasm, waiting for his hand.
Show me the revised terms. I need to see what I am choosing between.
Dissolution of the council. Permanent military occupation of your homeworld. Public tribunals for all senior leaders.
Valor stared at the projections, his hands falling as if the weight of the words pressed down. For a long moment, no one spoke. The words hung between them like a death sentence. He looked from the blank line to the projection, then at Elizabeth. His right hand moved to the quill. The fingers closed around it as if it were an anchor. He lifted it, trembling. The ink seemed heavy, already absorbing his resolve. The quill hovered just above the line, its shadow falling precisely where his name would go. Elizabeth watched, unblinking, her fate and his balanced on that point. The universe seemed to hold its breath, waiting for a scratch of quill on parchment.
If I sign this, will Earth honor its word?
Humanity keeps its treaties, Speaker, always. You have my word.
The quill trembled once, then steadied. Valor's jaw tightened as he made his choice. He pressed the nib to the aged parchment. The sound was soft and irrevocable. Dark ink flowed, filling the first curve of a character, the beginning of his name. Stroke by deliberate stroke, the letters formed, each one a small surrender. His hand moved with the ceremonial weight of a man carving his own epitaph into stone. Elizabeth watched without expression, her hands motionless on the table. The name now read, Valor of the Butt. The line below awaited the rest. The patronymic, the title, the seal. The quill lifted, leaving the signature unfinished, suspended between defeat and completion. With a final, deliberate stroke, the quill completed the name. The seal was pressed, and the document was signed. The ink glistened wet, binding the council to terms it had once thought unthinkable. Elizabeth took the document, her eyes scanning the signature. She nodded, once.
The terms are effective immediately. Your fleets will be notified. Welcome to peace.
She closed the folio and stood, the document now indelibly hers. Valor did not look up. His head bowed, the weight of 1,000 worlds pressing down. At the door, she paused. For a single moment, she looked back. A flicker of something crossed her face. Not triumph, but the deep quiet of a vow finally kept. Then the door closed, and she was gone. The Speaker of the Council sat alone. The surrender already signed, the ink already drying. She stepped into the silent corridor and allowed herself a small, private smile.
30 years, and it finally came to pass.
She opened a secured channel and transmitted the signed document. The message was brief, signed, in Earth's war room. The words flashed onto the main screen. A long silence, then a roar of applause. Across the fleet, humans stood down from battle stations. The order went out, weapons tight. Council ships powered down their weapons, docking at stations, their crews watching the skies with hollow eyes. On Earth, quiet celebrations began, not wild, but relieved. Fireworks over a few cities, church bells tolling. Elizabeth boarded the shuttle for home, the signed folio resting on her lap like a sleeping child.
Peace isn't a document, it's a seed, and it's just been planted.
The stars streamed past the viewport, and for the first time in decades, her shoulders relaxed. The ceremony was brief and formal. An official pinned the stellar cross on her lapel, his hand shaking with emotion.
They see a triumph. I see the ledger.
She slipped away before the reception began, driving herself to the old veterans' memorial on the hill. The memorial was silent. Dark stone walls, carved with names in endless rows, stretched before her. She walked among them, her heels clicking on the granite, until she found what she sought.
A name from her academy class. Killed in the first engagement 30 years ago.
Her fingers traced the carved letters, cold, unyielding.
They gave everything. We finished it.
She stood for a long time, the noise of the distant city, a faint hum. Then she placed her hand flat against the stone, a silent thanks, and turned away. In a cramped office, 30 years ago, a young Elizabeth Kincaid faced a panel of senior strategists. One of them asked, "And if we lose this coming war?"
Then it's all been a waste. But if we win, this will be the tool that secures peace.
Now, the signed document rested in her hands, Valor's signature a testament to decades of preparation. She walked to the archive hall and approached the waiting display case. She laid the document inside and closed the glass lid with the care of a curator. The lock clicked, sealing the terms into history forever. A single spotlight illuminated the signature that had changed the galaxy. Elizabeth stepped back, her expression unreadable, but her heart at peace. The camera lingered on the ink of Valor's surrender, now a symbol of enduring peace. Back in her office, the late sun cast long shadows. A data chip from the council blinked on her desk. She read the message. The council seeks to open a new dialogue, this time as equals, not as conquerors.
So they've learned, or at least learned to fear.
She set the data chip aside. On the corner of her desk lay the worst terms draft, marked archived, never to be used.
The bluff held. It was always enough.
The document that had threatened dissolution and occupation would now gather dust. She picked up the data chip and marked it for review in the morning. A small, private smile touched her lips, the kind that comes from a wager made decades ago, finally paying off. She stood and walked to the window, the city glittering below. The stars were calmer tonight, and so was she. She stood at the window long after the sun had gone, the city turning to scattered diamonds below.
Peace isn't signed, it's built, one day at a time.
The words were barely a whisper, but they carried the weight of everything she had done. She watched the lights of home, the people she had protected, unaware of the battle fought in a distant boardroom. Across the city, in the archive hall, a spotlight preserved a single piece of parchment. The ink of Valor's surrender glowed under the light, a testament to preparation, patience, and an unshakable will. The signatures were still, but they spoke louder than any weapon. A reminder that Earth did not beg for peace. It wrote the terms. The camera pulled back, the document shrinking into history, but its promise lingering. And then, slowly, gently, the screen faded to black.